Stay tuned. I'm about to let you in on a secret, a creator's most powerful weapon, a tool that separates the good from the great. Whether you're in advertising, film, television, or just trying to sell a vision in business, this tool has helped pitch and sell some of the biggest and most award-winning ideas in the world. The ability to take an idea, any idea, and make someone feel it, see it, want it, believe in it before it even exists. Today we'll be discussing the creative pitch deck or treatment depending on what phase of creativity you're in. Welcome. You're likely here for the same reason the rest of us are here. We derive great satisfaction from solving business problems with attention-worthy concepts that make us think, make us feel, make us laugh, and of course, make us enough money to cover our rent. But the truth is, coming up with great ideas is only part of the job. In all actuality, finding a way to convey our ideas clearly and concisely is exactly what we do on a daily basis about 90% of the time, aka getting to better work by making better decks. Decks are the lifeblood of what we do. They're how we communicate, how we share work, how information gets disseminated. They're a vehicle and a tool that travel throughout our process when it comes to creativity. Our lifeblood is about giving a brand a point of view and then getting that brand into culture. This is one of the most important things that we do. Simply put, a brand's point of view is its unique perspective on the world. What the brand stands for, the relevancy of the issues, the market climate, culture, the brand's values and beliefs, as well as, last but not least, how the brand exists beyond just selling products or services. It's about how the brand sees itself in the world, its culture. A product doesn't sell product, but culture does. And this is a major part of why a point of view in a deck is very important. It's about how the brand sees the world and itself in it. To accomplish that very specific task, the work needs to say something. It needs to have a voice, have an opinion, and make an argument. And so when we talk about arguments, that's something that will come along in later conversations, but an argument is very important. It actually is what makes the information or the idea relevant. It makes it interesting. Another word for argument could be tension. And tension is a word that you'll hear very often when we talk about creative ideas. What's the tension? What's the relevancy to culture? What voice does it have? And this is why this is very important to accomplish this task. That's where a deck comes in. A deck is super important to this because it allows you to get your vision out there to your client, to the world in a sense, and put your point of view and your tension out there. A deck is your way to make an argument, to tell a story about your argument. The deck is your way to be able to express your feeling and your emotion about these specific things. On a side note, for me, coming up in the industry, understanding how to develop a point of view, how to develop attention, how to develop an argument was probably one of the hardest things that I had to accomplish. It took me years to figure out, and there was just a lot of tedious labor and nature and just really researching and studying. And thank God I had great leaders around me that understood coming up in the industry. I had a lot of space to kind of learn this. So don't ever feel afraid or put down by yourself because you have a hard time finding the strongest insights, finding the strongest way to tell a story, the strongest tensions. Those are things that we will talk about throughout these conversations in these courses. But it is something that takes a while to really get to. I side note that because it's very important to understand it's not something that you just come into the industry and you just know how to do. It's something that you begin to pick up on and you learn. They say the more that you're around people that understand this value, the better you'll pick it up. So just make sure that you're around other creatives, senior creative leadership, creative directors, creative executives that can really help you. And don't be afraid to find a mentor within that group. So those are just things that are super important to understand. You're not alone. And these are things that can always be worked on and grown, right? That's what we're here for. But on that same note, when it comes to talking about ads and the idea of tension, some of you can probably look around and say, when I see ads out in the world, I don't really see ads that speak to what you're talking about, Devin, tensions and all types of stuff. And there are plenty of them. But there's a strict difference, right? We always say we sell ads in a deck, but the whole message, the whole idea of the ad should be a lot more than what you're putting a price tag on. Again, I'll repeat this saying, products don't sell products, culture does. Keeping this in mind, these are things that you really want to pay attention to, keeping your eye to what's going on. You're still an artist. And I believe personally that an artist's job is to reflect on what's happening in society at the time or culture at the time. It's one of my favorite quotes that I like to look on. It's, "I hate advertising, but I think I need some." This is Phil Knight, the owner and founder of Nike. And this is what he walked into the room speaking to Wyden and Kennedy. But as you can see, he learned the importance of what attention and messaging is, because Nike is probably one of the best ad companies in the world. We all look at their ads and wish we could do the same thing. So when we look at the idea of an ad campaign, it should speak heavily about what's happening in the world. It should be bigger than just what's on paper. It should be a message that's being said, and how we use that message is very important. Now let's simplify this a little bit. A deck has 5 key ingredients. It gives some cultural context and provides an insight. It then gives a point of view on that context or insight. It has references that show the world we're creating. It has some work that shows how that point of view can come to life. And last but not least, all those things are taken together and articulated as an idea. And an idea is something that we'll talk about. There's a lot of formulation that goes into what an idea is and how to develop an idea. The nature of how we sell in a deck is very important, and we can liken it to real life, a date or an order from Seamless. If you have friends over, you don't just give them what you want. There's a little bit of a sales pitch. Think of a deck like you're talking to someone about what to order from Seamless. Here's banchan soy garlic. I am a huge fan of banchan, if you know me. But that's not how you do it. You have to walk them into the order. Oh, hey, want to get Seamless? Want to get banchan? Want to split some wings, grab some drinks? Here is banchan soy garlic. It's the setup or storytelling used in the deck that helps whoever you're presenting to recognize that your idea is actually a really damn good idea. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for listening in about the deck. You're watching the Alpha Nerd Creative YouTube channel. If you like what you learned and want to see more, please feel free to subscribe and like below. All the buttons below.